What if everything you've been told about beating heart disease is only half the truth? What if the real reason people continue to suffer is not because they don't try, but because they're focusing on the wrong things? Because what happened to one of my patients will completely change how you think about heart health. He was a 72-year-old man, disciplined, taking medicines regularly, avoiding oily food, walking every morning. On paper, he was doing everything right, but still, his condition was getting worse. Breathlessness, fatigue, occasional chest discomfort, and every time he asked the same question, "Doctor, main aur kya karu?" And this is where most people get stuck. They believe, if I'm taking medicine, I'm safe. But what happened next shocked him completely. Welcome to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. I'm Dr. Danzy, and today we're going to talk about the real truth behind beating heart disease, and I'll be honest with you. It's not what most people think, because the biggest mistake is believing that heart disease is just about cholesterol or just about blockage. It's much deeper than that. Let me explain something very simple. Your heart is not failing overnight. It's reacting to years of patterns, daily habits, repeated decisions, and most of these feel harmless in the moment, but over time, they build up. Now here's the myth we need to break. Heart disease happens suddenly. No, it doesn't. It builds silently, day by day, meal by meal, choice by choice, and by the time symptoms appear, damage has already started. Now let me take you back to that patient. For years, he focused on one thing, cholesterol. He avoided ghee, stopped fried food, took his medicines seriously, but he ignored something far more dangerous, his lifestyle patterns, late-night eating, high stress, poor sleep, minimal movement beyond his morning walk. And this is where most people make a deadly mistake. They focus on one area and ignore the rest. But your body doesn't work like that. It's a system. Everything is connected. Now think about this. If your diet is controlled, but your stress is high, what happens? If your cholesterol is managed, but your sleep is poor, what happens? If you walk in the morning, but sit all day, what happens? The answer is simple. Risk remains. Because heart disease is not caused by one factor. It's a combination. Now here's something that might surprise you. A study of over 2,000 adults found that individuals with multiple lifestyle risk factors had nearly 2x higher chance of developing heart complications, even when their cholesterol levels were controlled. Let that sink in. Even with good reports, risk can still exist. Now let's go deeper. What actually damages your heart? Inflammation, high blood pressure, blood sugar spikes, stress hormones, poor circulation. All of these work together, and most of them are influenced by your daily habits. Now let me tell you about another patient, a 70-year-old woman, who came to me with severe fatigue. She had no major blockage. Her reports were not alarming, but she felt weak, low energy, no stamina, and she said something very important. "Doctor, मुझे लगता है मेरा body ठीक से काम नहीं कर रहा." And she was right, because heart disease is not always about blockage. Sometimes it's about how efficiently your system is functioning, and in her case, her body was under constant stress, irregular sleep, emotional pressure, poor meal timing, and over time, her heart function was affected, not dramatically, but gradually, and that gradual decline is what most people ignore. Now here's the turning point. Instead of focusing only on reports, we shifted the focus to patterns, daily routine, sleep quality, stress management, meal timing, light activity throughout the day. And what happened next was powerful. Within weeks, her energy improved. Within months, her overall condition stabilized. And most importantly, she felt in control again. And this is the truth most people don't hear. Beating heart disease is not about one big change. It's about multiple small corrections done consistently. Now let me ask you something honestly. Are you trying to treat your heart or are you trying to support it? Because there's a difference. Treatment reacts to damage, support prevents it, and most people start too late. Now imagine this. You understand your body's signals, you correct your habits, you reduce stress, you improve sleep, you move regularly, and you create balance. That's not complicated, but it is powerful, because now you are working with your body, not against it. Now let's break another myth. If I feel fine, my heart is fine. Not true. Many people with heart disease feel completely normal until something serious happens, and that's why awareness is your strongest protection. Now let me go back to that first patient. After years of focusing only on medication, he finally understood the bigger picture. We didn't stop his medicines. We added something more important: structure, routine, consistency. He started improving his sleep, managing stress, eating at the right time, staying active throughout the day, and slowly, things started changing. His symptoms reduced, his energy improved, and for the first time, he felt progress, real progress, and that's the moment. Everything changed for him. Now think about your own life. What are your daily patterns? Are they supporting your heart or stressing it? Because your heart responds to what you do every day, not what you do occasionally. Now here's something very important. There is one specific habit that silently accelerates heart disease, even in people who think they are healthy. And what happened to one of my patients because of this habit will make you rethink your entire routine. I'll reveal that next. But before we continue, if you want to truly understand your heart, not just rely on reports, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. Because here, we don't just talk about disease, we teach you how to avoid it. Now let's go deeper, because what you're about to learn next might change the way you live every single day. Now this next habit looks harmless, feels normal, and almost everyone does it. But over time, it slowly damages your heart, without you even realizing it. And what happened to one of my patients because of this still surprises people when I share this story. He was a 69-year-old man, no major history, no severe symptoms, just occasional fatigue, nothing alarming. And like many people, he believed he was fine. But there was one pattern in his life that he never questioned: long hours of sitting. After breakfast, he would sit. After lunch, he would sit. Even after dinner, straight to the chair or bed. Minimal movement. And this is where most people make a deadly mistake. They think, main exercise kar leta hoon, to baki time koi problem nahi. But what happened next changed everything. During a routine check, we noticed something unusual. His BP was unstable, his sugar levels fluctuating, his energy dropping. And when we looked deeper, the issue was not just diet, not just age. It was inactivity throughout the day. Let me explain this simply. Your body is designed to move. Circulation depends on movement. Blood flow improves with activity. Metabolism stays active when you move. But when you sit for long periods, everything slows down. Blood circulation reduces. Sugar control worsens. Fat metabolism gets affected. And your heart starts facing silent stress. Now, here's the myth we need to break. If I walk 30 minutes a day, I'm active enough. Not necessarily, because what matters is what you do in the remaining 23.5 hours. A study of over 2,000 adults found that individuals who sat for long continuous hours had significantly higher risk of heart disease, even if they exercised daily. Let that sink in, even if they exercised. Which means movement throughout the day is just as important as your morning walk. Now let me take you back to that patient. We didn't give him a complex plan. No extreme workout, no drastic changes. We made one simple shift: break the sitting pattern. Every 30-40 minutes, stand up, walk for 2 to 3 minutes. Stretch, keep the body active. After meals, light walking, not sitting immediately. And what happened next was powerful. Within weeks, his energy improved, his BP became more stable, his sugar fluctuations reduced, and most importantly, he felt lighter, more active, more alive. And that's the transformation most people are missing, because they focus on one part of the day and ignore the rest. Now think about your routine. How many hours do you sit continuously without realizing it? Because this habit doesn't feel dangerous, but over time, it creates the perfect environment for heart disease. Now let me tell you about another patient, a 72-year-old woman who had controlled cholesterol, regular medication, but still felt heavy, slow, low energy. When we analyzed her day, we found something similar: long periods of inactivity, minimal movement, and this was affecting her circulation. When she started adding small movement breaks, everything changed: better digestion, improved sleep, more stable BP, and gradually, her confidence returned because she felt in control. Now here's something very important. Your heart doesn't just need exercise, it needs regular circulation throughout the day, and that comes from movement. Not intensity, not heavy workouts, simple, consistent movement. Now imagine this. You walk in the morning, you move every hour, you stay active after meals, you avoid long sitting periods. That's not complicated, but it is powerful, because now your body stays active all day, and your heart gets continuous support. Now let me ask you something honestly. Do you sit for long hours without breaks, or do you stay active throughout the day? Because your answer is directly connected to your heart health. Now here's where things get even more interesting. There's one more hidden factor that quietly accelerates heart disease, even in people who are active, even in people who eat well. And what happened to one of my patients because of this will make you rethink your entire lifestyle. But before we go there, if you're starting to see your habits differently, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because here we focus on what truly matters: simple awareness, real impact. Now let's continue, because what comes next might be the missing piece in your heart health. Now this next factor is something you feel every day, but almost never connect with your heart. It doesn't show up in your reports, it doesn't make noise, but it quietly damages your body from the inside. I'm talking about chronic stress, not the sudden stress, not the occasional tension, but the daily, continuous pressure you carry. And this is where most people make a dangerous mistake. They think, stress to sabko hota hai, normal hai. But what happened to one of my patients will change how you see this forever. He was a 71-year-old man, no major lifestyle issues. He walked daily, ate reasonably well, didn't smoke, didn't drink. On paper, he looked low risk, but still, his BP remained high. His sleep was disturbed. He felt restless, even when nothing was physically wrong. And when I asked him about his routine, he said something very common. Doctor, thoda tension rehta hai, bas. But that thoda tension was not small, it was constant. Financial worries, family concerns, overthinking at night, no mental rest. And this is where the real damage was happening. Because when stress becomes chronic, your body stays in alert mode, cortisol levels remain high, adrenaline keeps flowing, your heart rate increases, blood vessels tighten, and your blood pressure stays elevated, even when you're sitting still, even when you think you're relaxed. Now imagine this, your body never gets a break. Day after day, night after night, it keeps running in stress mode. And over time, this leads to inflammation, high BP, poor sleep, and increased risk of heart disease. Now here's the myth we need to break. If I'm not physically tired, I'm fine. No, mental stress is just as real, and often more damaging. A study of over 2,000 individuals found that those with chronic stress had nearly 2x higher risk of cardiovascular problems, compared to those with better stress management. Now let that sink in. Stress alone can double your risk. Now let me take you back to that patient. We didn't start with medicines. We started with awareness. Identifying stress triggers, creating small breaks during the day, reducing overexposure to negative information, simple breathing exercises, light evening routines, and most importantly, giving his mind time to slow down. And what happened next was powerful. Within weeks, his sleep improved, his BP started stabilizing, his restlessness reduced, and for the first time, he felt calm, not just physically, but mentally. And that's when real healing begins. Now think about this. You can eat perfectly, you can exercise daily, you can take your medicines, but if your mind is constantly stressed, your body remains under pressure, and your heart pays the price. Now let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time you truly relaxed? Not scrolling, not watching something, but actually calming your mind? Because distraction is not relaxation, and most people confuse the two. Now imagine this. You move throughout the day, you avoid long sitting, you manage your meals, and you reduce stress. Now your body is in balance, your heart is supported, your system works efficiently. And that's how you truly fight heart disease, not with one big change, but with multiple small corrections. Now let's bring everything together. Heart disease is not just about cholesterol. It's not just about blockage. It's about patterns, movement, stress, sleep, habits. And when these are out of balance, risk increases. But when you align them, your body starts healing. Now, before we close, I want you to remember one simple truth. Your heart is not asking for perfection. It's asking for consistency. Small habits, done daily, create powerful results over time. Now I want to hear from you. Be honest. Which of these is your biggest challenge right now? Long sitting, stress, or irregular routine? Comment below and share your experience, and tell me, what is one habit you are going to change starting today? Because your decision can shape your future. And if you found this valuable, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Danzy's Senior Health Tips, because here we don't just talk about heart disease, we help you stay away from it. I'm Dr. Danzy, and I'll see you in the next video.